I'm Lake Miller.
And I'm Hannah Brown. Welcome to Gem City Diversity, a podcast where we talk about diversity and inclusion in the Dayton area. This is one of our Youth Speaks episodes. These episodes are planned, created, and recorded by youth.
Hey, I'm Natalee. I went to Anytown in 2020, and I am here with Makayla, who also attended Anytown in 2020.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
So I just want to jump right into a few questions I wanted to ask you. My first question being, what does privilege look like to you?
I think to me, privilege means that you aren't affected by your identity. So say for instance, if you're Black, your identity does have effect in the world. You get discriminated against it and things like that. So I feel like as a Black person, I don't really have the privilege to live freely for the simple fact that I am Black. And I feel like it's a privilege to, one, not have to deal with any difficulties because of your identity, social status, wealth, different things like that. And two, to be aware of your privilege because of these things. So I also feel like it's a privilege to not have to be aware of the fact that these things affect people because you already had the privilege of not being affected by it.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Another question that I wanted to ask you was, how has gender affected your life?
For me, my gender has always affected my life because I have a very traditional family. So I was always told things like as I got older that, oh, that's not ladylike. Oh, you can't wear it like because you're a girl, you have to do this, like because you have to do that. And because of that, I always was a rebel since I was young. So I always felt because everybody kept telling me I had to do certain things because I was a girl, I started to act more tomboy-ish. Like I started to wear jogging pants and stuff everywhere. In real life, I really did want to wear dresses, but it's because everybody kept telling me I had to do it because I was a girl. I didn't want to do it anymore. So I feel like in that way, it took me a while to get out of the mindset that I always had to struggle, that just because those people are saying that I have to do this because I'm a girl doesn't mean that I'm conforming into idea that what means a girl is to them. And I feel like in those ways it's affected me, as well as different things just all the time come off. It's like being a girl is hard. It's very hard, and different things like when it comes to wage gaps and may not have opportunities the same way just because I'm a female, or may have more opportunities because I'm a female in different aspects. I feel like it has affected me in that way.
Yeah, I definitely understand some of those, especially in school or workplaces. I've noticed a lot more because they'll be like, can we get some big, strong boys to help us move the tables or something like that, or the dress code?
And then they're super surprised when they're like, okay, so I had this example, like I had this time at work where it was a big heavy box and it was up high. You know, I'm not that tall, but I could still reach it. And they were like, oh, get Andrew to do it. That looks really heavy. And then I'm like, no, I could do it. So I grabbed it and everybody's like, oh my God, like I can't believe you can do that by yourself. I could never do that by myself. And it's like, well, it's not that heavy, you know. So those instances, I definitely feel the discrimination.
For sure. My next question that I have for you is, have you ever been in a situation where you found it hard to stand up for another person?
I've had a situation where I felt kind of uncomfortable doing so, but in the end, I still did it, you know, because everybody has anxiety, especially me. I have social anxiety. So when it comes to things like being able to speak up and things like that, I do have a difficult time doing it. But in the end, I did end up being able to, even though I may have stuttered a little bit and had a shaky voice and inside I was trembling, I still ended up speaking for what I think is right, despite of what I feel like people's perception would be with me. I still try my best to always speak up and speak out because I know I have the voice to do so. So despite all of my anxiety challenges and things, I still try my best to speak up regardless and just fight against myself to do what I know is right.
Another question I have for you is, do you think that the places you spend your time are diverse?
When it comes to school, I feel like my school is very diverse. But when it comes to places outside of my school, I don't quite think so. When it comes to school, there's people of all races, all colors, all genders, sexualities, things like that. But when I'm outside of my workplace, say for instance, I'm a place like at work, there's probably like maybe like 2 or 3 Black people in total there. Rest they're white. And even though like they are amazing people, they're really sweet. They're all nice, and they all basically are they're just nice. They're just nice, and they all do have the same beliefs of when it comes to different discriminations against Black people, things like that. They're all aboard on that, but there's still not that many people of color there. And it doesn't really make me uncomfortable because I know that there are good people, and it's not no like racist people there that could possibly put me in harm's way. So it doesn't really bother me much, but I definitely do notice that a lot of my surroundings are majority white. And I just think that's another part of being a minority in a white majority. So it's bound to be a majority white place unless it's a specifically diverse place like my school, where it's in a diverse hub, which is like Dayton. So if it's not like a majority diverse place, I don't really expect it to be diverse. But other than school, no.
I kind of feel the opposite of what you just said, because here there are people of many different diversities, like all over, walking down the street, in the grocery stores, stuff like that. There are people of all kinds. And my final question that I have for you is, how has race affected your life?
My race has affected my life in many ways because I am Black. There's been a lot of instances where I've even been pitted against my own race because I have lighter skin versus my cousins who were dark skinned. It's been a lot of instances where people tried to put me above them or say I was prettier than them or anything like that. And there's also been instances where there's always been like almost an underlying tone of racism and things that people say to me, like they're trying to be, I guess, funny or relatable or something like that. And it just doesn't come across as the right way to do it. And there's a lot of things that happen because of my race. It has been a lot of times where my race has affected my daily life, even when I'm just trying to enjoy myself with some people that I know. It's always get the looks, the stares, the mockingness, I guess you could say. So it has affected me in a lot of ways, but I feel like in a way, all those have made me a lot stronger in the person that I am today. So I'm not mad at it, but I just wish it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to go through that. And thank you for sharing your experiences with me.